Hello. I'm considering getting back on the coffee train. Uh, are you like completely off of stimulants, or did you switch to tea? Hmm. I have ADD, so I have powerful stimulants. Oh, I see. Okay, I wonder what Ambien is on. um, yeah, I don't know. So if it's like coffee versus tea, also let me pump up the music a little bit. In coffee, tea versus coffee, I don't know. Um, Honestly, I just like them both. Sometimes coffee is nice, exactly what I want. Some other times, coffee is a little bit too rough, and I instead want just tea, and that's it. So I don't know. Sometimes you have people that are in camp A, camp B. This is a thing where I cannot see it as camps. I just want all of it. Um, I want to learn Zig. Well, ZDS, you're in the right stream to, well, I don't know if it's the best stream to learn Zig. Maybe not. But if you want to, observe how is the Zig life, that's one good stream to do that. If you want to learn Zig, Typist is supported now? No, Tonti or Mordillo. I'm sorry. Typist will come, but it will be a while. I 100% want to do it, but there's a ton of smaller stuff that has to happen first. So, for example, today we're gonna add decent. Well, it's not exactly daytime support; it's date formatting support. So, for example, date formatting up until now has been kind of broken in Zine. Like it did support. Oh, the highlighting. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, it was added. Sorry, I I now understand the context there where you coming with this comment. But yeah, we have a twisted grammar for it. So the daytime stuff comes from um, Rocco Rager, who has updated Zite, and he added both normal daytime stuff and Go style date stuff. Oh, yeah, Yunus. As I was saying, I was about to say this and then I got sidetracked. But yes, the official Zig website has a link to a bunch of different learning resources for Zig. One of those is Zig links. You can also Google it. You will find a Codeberg repository. I think you can even go to ziglinks.org. That also works. Yeah, you go to ziglinks.org, and that redirects you to the repository. And yeah, and that's it. So this is pretty good to get started learning. Okay. Yeah, let's do the daytime stuff. So Rocket Ranger implemented both. That is tempting me to, well, add support for both then in Zine. But I'm not sure. We are certainly going to support Go formatting style. I don't know about this one. Okay, let's do the work to add this stuff. So we can close the Vim tabs. We don't need to change them anymore. So this is the official Zine website. This is Zine itself. So in Zine itself, we want to update Zite. And then we want to take a look at date time. And to format, I want to say format date time according to the specified format string. Zine uses Go style format strings. Which are all variations based on a magic date. Magic date is although I don't know. Let's see how Go presents this, because I think I probably want to copy what they do. Time package. Okay, I was about to say, like, where the fuck are the official docs? So duration, location, time. Do it have a format method? format. Okay, let's see. These are predefined layouts. Blah, blah, blah. The reference time used in these layouts is a specific timestamp. I think this is a better version of this. Hey, Rocker Rager. Hey, Big Kano. I'm writing docs for the new stuff that you push to Zite. So, by the way, thank you very much for that work. Hey, Arnau. You know what? We already have examples. I do think, though, so I'm not thinking deeply about this problem because for now it's really not my focus of attention. But I do think that this would be worthwhile being modernized to include locations in the string and also kick out these, I don't know, what do they call them? Time zones? Like MST. I think that people use time zone to describe a few different concepts that aren't exactly the same concept. So like this removing it from the equation, or wait, no, you still kind of wait. Okay, wait a second. We're talking about formatting. We're not talking about parsing. So the step one would be being able to parse strings that also contain a location. Then for formatting, what would that mean imply for formatting? Nothing. Never mind. I think the formatting is fine as is. As I was saying, I'm not thinking about this stuff too deeply. Actually, so, okay, I think the logic should be, if you don't need to change anything to update, then it's a patch release. Question about aspect of aesthetics. What keyboard do you prefer? Ergo, 75% split. I used to have preferences. I don't remember them very much, like very well. But I have an Advantage 360, which I believe should fall under split and ergo, because, well, regardless, it's split. I guess the main perspective is that it's split and it's ortholinear, so the rows are not staggered. Although it's not perfect either. It's like it tries to follow some tweaks to feel more natural than that. But regardless, I think that I'll stay on this keyboard for a long time. I've tried a bunch before this one, but this one is definitely good enough to not make me want to mess around with keyboards for a long time. Right, we haven't regenerated the docs. Oh, and we're not using local Zine either. In the meantime, we should also look at implementation, because we're not forwarding this to Zite at the moment. And we should. Hello, yes, sir. Hello, everybody. Oh, and I should have regenerated this stuff right after update. There we go. I think we can make it even nicer, like this. Is it good for Wasm? It is. It's probably the best language out there for Wasm today. Yeah, there are EM-GUI bindings. There's a bunch of those. There's also Zig, fully implemented in Zig, immediate UI GUI by David Vanderson. So I'm probably mispronouncing this, but search for DVUI. That's an immediate mode. It's an immediate mode UI. GUI, and this is what you're seeing here. It's this UI running in Wasm. So this is like it's in the web, right? But it's Wasm. So okay, let me see if I can show something nice. Well, so just to be clear, like here, this text, this is not a DOM. I cannot right click. This is like all rendered inside of Canvas. Has menus, basic widgets. drop downs, stuff. That kind of stuff. What's the startup time for a Wasm blob? Well, if you mean like the inherent work that a WebAssembly runtime needs to do to start executing a Wasm executable, I would say it's not much by default. So I would say should feel pretty instant. But then that doesn't mean that a Wasm runtime executable will be instant to start, right? So I guess the question is, I'm inside of a web page and I want to start executing Wasm blob. How long does that take? That should be instant. But let's say that you're in the CLI and you want to start, a Wasm runtime executable, and so you want to start everything all at once. Autodoc is slow. Well, Autodoc is it's parsing your project and the entire Zig standard library every time you load the page. It's potentially downloading the tarball. I don't know if I'm assuming there's caching. So let's say that you have the tarball already. So it's extracting the tarball, parsing every single file in there, and then displaying the results. So the Autodoc, the standard library Autodoc, is doing a lot of work before it can display you something. So I guess the point is, it's not like the Autodoc has the data already pre-rendered for it, and it just has to display it. It has to compute it every single time. Yeah, no, Wasm is fine. Like, is Wasm super fucking fast? No, it's definitely not. It's a bytecode. It's a virtual machine, which for now is not terribly complex. So it's kind of a fast machine. And if you've written your Wasm program using a efficient language, then your Wasm should be fine, roughly speaking. So I would say, sometimes you have people that say, "Oh my God, Wasm is like blazingly fast." It's not. It's fine, but it's also not terribly slow. It's like I would say it's mostly a non-factor for most applications. So yeah, in the case of Autodoc, it's just that Autodoc has to do some work, and maybe okay, you know what? I guess this might be a factor to some degree. I suspect that Autodoc is not parsing stuff in a multi-threaded fashion, and it is instead parsing everything in a linear way. I am not sure 100%. I have not seen the code. I might be wrong. But that's kind of what you get out of the box from WebAssembly. There is support for threads in WebAssembly, but I don't know if that is supported by browsers. I don't know. It's like preview 2 or something, maybe. So Wasm is about to have multi-threading, but not yet. And because of that, in a sense, that could be like a performance thing for now. But it's not exactly really, right? It's more of an architectural thing, more than strictly performance. In any case, let's wire in Zite for formatting. So here we were doing what? Datetime, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, type info, date format, struct decals. Yeah, this is how we were doing it. This can now go. Hey, what's the name of the method? I already forgot. Oh, it is GoFMT. I guess CLS doesn't know how to suggest it. Why? Oh, it works on GoFMT works on time. Okay. Is it time? Oh no. Okay. So yeah, so what do we do with an instant? Yeah, it is dot time. Okay. Do you need to try time? No. This can error out. Does it have its own errors or is it just like write errors to the stream? Oh, you know what? Zig will be able to tell me, I guess. Hey, Rocket Rager. Yeah, no worries. Will do. Thank you again for your work. Okay. Did we succeed? Oh, right. It's because it's not DT. It's DT dot underscore DT. I bet you. Oh, god damn it. What is it then? Oh, inst. Error, no space left. Not a member of destination set. No space left. No space left? Who's babbling a no space left error? I'm weirdly confused. Error no space left. That is so weird. I mean, it's clearly this guy. Oh, well, this makes it awkward to try it out. But why is this guy returning that error? Okay, let's see if any of our dates are still correct. Yeah, dates are still correct. Maybe let's try to be a little bit more artistic with our daytime formatting stuff, just for the heck of it. So that would be log shtml, and we are formatting. We are formatting with. Oh, we're not formatting it at all. I see. We were not formatting it at all. I see. I see. It's fine. So there's a loop before any looping. Here we can put a date. Let's see if it likes it. So the M is duplicated. It's taken literally. I think that's a bug. Wait, the date is 2020? What the fuck? For this page? Really? Oh, yeah. The date is like, yeah, not a particularly meaningful date. Okay. So that means that 06 was working correctly. So this should say 21 now. July, Tuesday, 6. Yeah, 21. So it's 3p. I think Oracle Ranger is just missing a like skip also the M. I think this should be PM. But okay, that's that works. It's great. Awesome. So we tested that it works. Okay. So we need to tag Zine. Okay, now I'm curious how long it will take for this to show up as an update in Discord. And you know what? I'm not joking. I want to take a look at the entire thing. So it's gonna take a while for the site to build because we changed Zine. Every time you change Zine, it has to rebuild it. It has to recompile it. So that is not instant. That's fine. That's like kind of by design. I might be too optimistic. Maybe this freaking RSS bot checks the feed. I don't know, once every hour. So, but let's give it a chance. Let's see what happens. Oh, interesting. These builds have become much faster than what I remember. Not yet deployed though. Uh, wait, what am I looking at? I'm dumb. This is the Zine repository, not the Zine website repository. You know what? Let's take this opportunity also to make a release on GitHub. Okay, so the website built. Yeah, and it took what did it took? Yeah, 1 minute 24 seconds. That sounds about right. And 0.6.1 is there now. Let's take a look at my releases. They link correctly. Yeah, this links correctly. This does not seem updated. Oh, that's my browser cache. Well, that's not good. Okay. So this happened. Now it's the bots. It's the bots moment. Hey, Ran. Your location web server is just amazing. Yeah. I don't know if you also saw the Q&A. There was a funny exchange there. I'll pull it up in a moment. So I think that, you know what? It's understandable. We can't expect the RSS bot to be scanning continuously. So it will pick the change up, I guess, at some point. Okay. Yeah, so there's videos. Yeah, there's this exchange that I think is kind of funny. Okay, I'm gonna bump up the volume of the video. Okay, so for the people who haven't seen this talk, maybe you want to check it out. It's the most popular talk, I believe, of all the new talks that I posted on YouTube. Let me see. 2.5K for the data-oriented one. 1.4K for Richard. 3.8K Nia. Yeah, I think it's the most viewed thing. Yeah. Well, I'm saying I think because these numbers are not exactly true to life. Like the numbers here lag a little bit. So if I were to go into my like control panel, I would see the latest numbers. Sometimes they lag behind a little bit, but this one is it's definitely up there for sure. So the talk is about a web server that never allocates, and Folkert shows how everything works. There's one thing that let's see. Let's see if I can find the question. Oh, by the way, yeah, sorry, YouTube people, you guys cannot hear this stuff. Nothing I can do. I guess you can. You're already on YouTube. You can go watch the video. Okay, so there's okay. I found the point that I wanted to show. So the whole point of Nia is it's a web server that tries to never allocate, and so it's an application that really cares about being able, like when you're developing the project. I guess maybe I should say a couple of words on how Rock works. So yeah, let me take a step back. Rock is a programming language by Richard Feldman, who was there. I don't know if you saw him. He was in the audience at Software You Can Love. And the idea behind Rock is that it wants to give you like an Elm-like developer experience, but for full stack. For the full stack, Elm is front-end only, as far as I'm aware. While Rock is like native applications, back-end. Maybe you can also do front-end, question mark. You certainly can do that with WebAssembly. But I don't think it transpiles to JavaScript. So it can do, at least some front-end. So the idea behind Rock is that obviously if you want to make native stuff and you want to make it good, you can't only use functional programming everywhere. I don't know, maybe some people will disagree. Let's not focus on that too much. But what Rock does is have this concept of a application and a platform. Every Rock program, has a platform layer and an application layer. The platform layer is not implemented in Rock. So whenever you write a Rock application, you have to specify which platform layer you want to use. And there are some that ship with the compiler and some that could be custom made by other people. So it's like a package, like a dependency that you have. and that dependency implements your platform. And the platform is written normally in a lower level programming language like Rust or Zig or C, I guess. And what it does is implement all the low level stuff, all the stuff that needs to be very performant, and exposes some primitives to the Rock application. So for example, a Rock doesn't have any IO in the standard library because all and any IO that an application can do has to be given to it, a Rock application can do, has to be given to it by the platform. So for example, Rock ships with a CLI platform that gives you access to standard input, standard output, the file system, the normal stuff that you can do in a CLI program. But you could imagine that you can make a web server platform, and the web server platform only gives access to the Rock application, access to, for example, more high-level primitives like root. It allows you to define a root in the web server, that kind of stuff. And so Nia is mostly, if not entirely, a platform. Technically, if you develop the platform, maybe you can also provide some convenience like library-style functions to the Rock layer. Is the platform layer like JVM? Yeah, you could look at it also like in that way. Yes, you write your Java application in Java, and you, generally speaking, try to make it, you target the JVM, and so it's one program, and then the specific implementation of the JVM on different systems takes care of the rest. That's kind of like this, although the specifics of the relationship between the platform layer and the Rock application are different than what you get in the JVM. Like if you're a Java developer, you're not thinking about the JVM much all the time. Yes, your access to the system is always brokered by the JVM, but you don't think about it too much unless you get to a point where the details of how that works become important. In Rock, it's different. Like you need to try it to understand what I mean. So Nia apparently is written in Rust, and to avoid allocation, make everything performant, etc., Volkert explains a bunch of weird, absolutely unsafe stuff that he's doing in Rust, and all the things that he's doing because he also wants to use arena allocators and track memory and making sure that everything behaves exactly as it should, because that's the only way you can actually make a web server that never allocates. And so after listening to him talk about all the Rust shenanigans that he was getting himself into, this was my comment. So right now he's saying that he doesn't want to do unwinding. Unwinding is a specific technique. That's how exceptions are implemented. It requires using, you don't have to, but in practice, everybody, including Rust, I believe, uses libunwind. And it's basically a way for a program to have a program that normally wouldn't have a lot of information to do runtime introspection. It has just like it adds enough information into the executable, or rather, it leverages a little bit of information that the executable has about itself to be able to pop stack frames and bubble up, just like exceptions bubble up. Like unwinding is this kind of mechanism, but that comes at a cost. Because you need certain data to be available in the executable. Otherwise, unwinding doesn't work. And libunwind itself it's a dependency. And I personally cannot comment on how good or not good it is. I don't know. I don't use this stuff directly. But I heard all kinds of very opinionated takes on libunwind. So I can see people just not wanting to use it. That was a fun moment. Well, that's it. We can go back to the music. Okay, so we have this. Did the miracle happen? The miracle did not happen yet. So what do we want to do next? Let's see. Hey, Uli. Yeah, sorry, you guys cannot hear this stuff on YouTube. I am so sorry. I wish there was like an easy way for me to like selectively allow certain things to go on YouTube or not, but I just don't have the technology. Actually, maybe I would. Sorry, it's not impossible. It's just annoyingly complicated, and I don't do it often enough to I guess engineer a solution. In any case, let's see. I binged 4 or 5 of the talks yesterday. Nice, great conference. Thank you, Oli. Thank you very much. Glad you appreciated it. Yeah, sorry. It took me a long time to pump out those videos, but they're finally out. I would say that given the state of the original source material, like the recordings from YouTube, I'm patting myself on the back, but the cleanup process turned out to be the audio cleanup process turned out to be on point. I am very happy with that. I mean, if you have like a good set of headphones, you can tell that the audio is how can I say, it's clear, it's understandable, but it is also not exactly like high quality. You don't want to you would not want the singer, for example, from a song to sound like that. Yeah, but it is I think oh shit, there we go, we have it, it happened. If only we could not have like link previews in this thing. Man, I tried to personalize this, but it's impossible to. I don't think there's a way to tell it to not render like links. Okay, so the next thing on this lab is we can work on a SuperMD extension for VS Code because we have a new file extension .smd, and it would be nice to provide people with syntax and lighting. We should provide people also with more than that, also a language server. But you know, syntax and lighting, I feel like it's like the baseline, the starting point. If you don't have syntax and lighting, everything just sucks. So I think we should do that. And by the way, I have now this set up in my editor, and it feels good, man. Like, look at this. Look at this. Okay, maybe it's not immediately clear. So let me tell you what's going on here. I have Markdown syntax highlighting, and it recognizes Ziggy. This is also Ziggy syntax highlighting. Everything works well together. So I think we should give the same experience also to VS Code users. Another thing that we could do is work on porting more zigland.org. We're getting close. There's just a few pages missing for being able to, for porting the full English page. And that's it. There's definitely nothing else we could be working on. Nothing at all. That it has to be one of these two. Nothing else. It's not like I have another tab with a bunch of prototyping a UI using a Zig GUI framework. I don't have any of that. So yeah, I guess it has to be the ones above. So you know what? Let's do the VS Code extension, and then maybe I will indulge in some Discord too. Also, you know what? There's an ad I think coming up, so let's wait for the ad to start or to run, and then I can explain a little bit what I mean by Discord too, because I think it's an interesting subject. So you know what? I'll take this opportunity to go for a very quick bathroom break. Then we do the VS Code stuff, and then we'll see. Well, no, and then I explain the Discord 2 stuff, and then we do the VS Code stuff. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, I am back. So, Visco Super in the extension, right? Oh yeah, in this thing. So the story is that there has been some discussion in my Discord server. Well, okay, there has been some discussion already in the past about the idea of making our own Discord. But then, it's complicated. There's a lot of work. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody would like to have it. Nobody would want to do the work to get it, to make it. And like discussion happened in the past and then it died down. There really are a lot of reasons for which it would make sense for us to do that. Or not just it would make sense, like it would make sense, meaning we could pull it off, meaning there is a very good chance that we could actually pull it off. So properly implement a solution that at the very least for ourselves, for our own use case, it would turn out to be a preferable tool than Discord, allowing us to genuinely ditch Discord if we wanted to. So I'm not saying word domination. I'm not saying it would, oh man, we're gonna make Discord go bankrupt. I don't think that would happen, and that is not important. What is important is that you clearly need a minimum level of success for the endeavor to be worth the effort. But you don't need to conquer the world. So I feel like that a successful, the goal of at least, oh, hey, Uli, you came here. So the goal of, at the very least, make our own lives better is, in my opinion, very realistic to achieve. It would still be a ton of work, but it would be very realistic. I mean, Zine, for example, Zine is another example of that. Right now, it has 5 users, maybe. So it's not conquering the world. I would expect, as time goes on, that Zine gains some more momentum than now. So I can imagine eventually Zine to, have 1,000 people that use it. I feel like that's realistic. But I guess the point is that while, yes, Zine is still today incomplete and extremely niche, it is already a huge step up compared to every other alternative for my own use case and for the people that also have adopted it, I suspect. So, how can I say? I feel like the Zine shows that you have to put some work, not a ton of, not an insane amount, but a good amount of work. And if you just think it through and you're willing to shave all the yucks that it makes sense to shave, you can totally do significantly better than well-established alternatives. And so we could totally give the same treatment to Discord. I have no doubt in my mind. So that has been the discussion. One of the reasons why we have been, so let me briefly recap some of the reasonings behind what we could gain, why we are in a privileged position where we could actually pull this kind of stuff off. The idea is, okay, point number one, there is no overall good solution out there that everybody likes. There is only, for example, Andrew left Discord recently because Discord served him one ads too many, and Andrew decided to get rid of Discord. And so he moved to Zulip. Zulip is, I would say, so I think the first 5 messages on the Zulip were about Zulip not being all that great, but fine. And people were saying, oh yeah, I don't really like Zulip, but you know what? It's gonna be fine. I can deal with it because yeah, that's it. I can deal with it. So there is no great solution out there. And to be clear, I do think after observing for a while now, they have been using it for a couple of days or something like that, and I can see Zulip being kinda like a good tool for what they're going for, like the specific thing that Andrew is going for, because everything being a thread is not bad. Let's see if I can log into it. Am I logged in here? Did I log in with Google? Seems I did. Yeah. So like compiler discussion has a bunch of discussions. Everything is, as you can see, a thread basically. And there's like a bunch of discussions going on in parallel. And this makes total sense. I mean, you could achieve the same result also in Discord, to be fair. But the UI in Discord is still not the greatest. Yeah, but in any case, they are getting some enjoyment out of this, and I can totally see this. At the same time, I would say, is Zulip the solution? Fuck no. For me personally, especially no, because it doesn't have voice chats, it doesn't have voice channels, it doesn't have screen sharing, and to me, these are like critical tools. I can see not everybody wanting to have those, but for me, I need those. I want those. I'm not gonna give them up. So there's that. What other alternatives are there? There are some, but none of them I feel like really, takes the crown. So I guess my point is like other solutions aren't all that great either. Then on top of that, Andrew moved to Zulip and people followed him. And I can promise you the majority of these people, well, I haven't polled them, but I would say this is a safe bet. The majority of these people don't really love Zulip. They started using Zulip only because what they care about was the interaction. Like they wanted to be in the place where discussion about the Z compiler and collaboration happens. That's why they are here. So what's the point here is that people were willing to they were willing to jump through some hoops to be part of certain interactions. And this same thing is true for a lot of things in our space, meaning just like some people who really want to participate in the compiler development are willing to join Zulip because they want to keep having those interactions, there are other communities, like, for example, the Handmade community, which it's kind of like, we could say, the Handmade network, and also Handmade cities, like the let's call it a sub community that is managed by Abner. For example, Abner for Handmade Seattle used to use Matrix as the chat server for the conference, but man, that thing was a piece of garbage. They had so many problems with Matrix over the time. And then Abner eventually had to let it go and go to Discord. He doesn't love Discord, but it was in the end a better compromise. So, for example, Abner is somebody who he personally would be interested in jumping ship if he could. Assuming that the alternative is better than fucking Matrix. So he would be receptive, and I think that the same would apply also to the Handmade community. Obviously, I cannot speak for them, and I'm not saying that you present to them a terribly crappy, a AliExpress version of Discord, and they will immediately jump ship. I don't think so. They also, I would say, they also would have other reasons, like the Handmade network specifically would have other reasons to say on Discord. But I would say that there is, given the shape of our communities, it would be easier for us to move to something that isn't the mainstream. Because of what we are doing, people value the specific interactions they can have in our communities, and they would be willing to move to jump through some hoops, so move to another platform to be able to continue having those. Would you be leaving people behind doing this? 100%. Would that be a problem? No. Andrew moved to Zulip. Anybody who is really into, who is into the contributing to the core compiler for real will 100% go to Zulip, because people who instead were like observing from the outskirts and not really doing anything, they might not, but it's fine because that was not really the audience that you cared about anyway. Discord is a lot like this, right? Discord is great because people will join your Discord much more easily. Because they're already there, and it's easy for them to just add another server on the on the list of servers. But then at the same time, a lot of people join, and then they never check your channel. They never say anything. So all they do is like bump up the number of users in your community, and that's it. So as long as you're like chasing numbers, great, good job. But if you're chasing like actual interactions, you end up collecting a lot of like dead weight on Discord. So you have bigger numbers, but the numbers that actually matter, again, I'm not making this argument as this is not a universal argument. This does not apply to everybody universally the same, but it does apply to our communities. It applies to the Z community, it applies to the handmade community. And I think in our case, there's moving to a different platform is something that we could pull off. On top of that, there's also a bunch of problems that we are subjected to that we could try to tackle. Maybe not entirely solve, but we could at least try to tackle making our own chat platform. For example, Steven Gutkanst has recently left Twitter. Let's see if I can find it. Hopefully he has a link to his stuff. Oh yeah, he has a link to his he has a link to this specific blog post. Oh my god. Yeah, today I deleted my Twitter account. Well, he hasn't exactly deleted it, although you can see that, okay, he renamed it to deleted and nuked all his messages. Oh no. He only has one post. Nuclear. Yeah, so but what's important is his complaint, which I think is very, very interesting. So he's saying, the game dev community and tech Twitter used to be fucking fantastic. If you curated who you followed on your account, your feed would be full of genuinely interesting tidbits of information, things you could only learn from other game devs or people making software. This phenomenon is real. It's very important. Yo, hey Steven. Yeah. So this is very important. If you want to learn Zig, the best way of learning Zig is 1000% by interacting with other people in the Zig community. That's how you discover the juiciest libraries made by other people. This is how you discover the latest and greatest, design pattern, way to name your variables and stuff. I'm not bringing up good examples, but really, you gain you gain an extra edge of proficiency by interacting with people who are also with you in this race. It's kind of like, I don't know, think of One Piece. We're all going towards, oh fuck, I forget the name of that island. What's the English name of the island at the end of the belt? Is it even called the belt in English? In any case, you get the idea, right? There's like a race going on. Everybody is trying to improve things. Lodestar, is that the name of the island? The one that? No, I think that's the name of the island, like the actual real one. But there's I think there's whatever. Let's set aside the One Piece stuff. The point is, a lot of people are all racing to learn more things. And by looking at what everybody discovers, you discover you yourself. It's like a force multiplier. Laughtail. Yeah, Laughtail is Laughtail is the real one, right? Laughtail is the real one, but I think never mind. Enough with the One Piece. So, for example, I wrote this blog post recently, Zig Day, where I was stating this. Like if you're trying to learn Zig in 2024, one key ingredient is still interacting with the Zig community. More docs, blog posts, videos about Zig are getting released over time, but in my opinion, direct collaboration is still the most effective way to dispel unknown unknowns, get unblocked, and improve your overall coding style by adopting new patterns as they get discovered by other members of the community. This is in stark contrast with people, for example, who want a book. They say, "Oh, I'm not going to learn Zig until there's a book." I mean, fine, you do you. You can do whatever you want, but I can promise you that it doesn't matter which book you pick. Learning Zig through a book is like it's the difference between eating fresh food and eating out of a tin can. You can put this stuff in a tin can, and like you can survive out of stuff that comes out of a tin can. But there's a significant difference between, canned beans and, fresh vegetables, fresh meat, fresh fish, fresh fruit. And fresh stuff is what you get by interacting with people. Canned stuff is what you get by reading books. So the book could do a good job at packaging a bunch of information in a tight space. But there will be always a lot of macronutrients that will be missing from a book, no matter what, no matter when. Chef Boyardee canned mac and cheese. Oh no. Is that a thing? I mean, of course it is. Well, wait. Oh, it's a brand. Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course it's a brand. Is this what you guys eat in the United States? Are you suggesting the Landgraf is canned food? Yeah. I mean, oh no. Bork died. Sorry. Bork died. I still have chat, but something bad happened to Bork. I'm gonna fix all this stuff also in Bork. I'll eventually circle back. So, the Landgraf by itself is definitely not enough to learn Zig. You want to read the Landgraf. It is a fundamental piece of information. You know what? I would say the Landgraf is like bread. You want to have bread in your meal. But bread, it's like the baseline. Then you want to put stuff on the bread or somehow in the proximity of the bread. And the best stuff, the freshest stuff is social interaction. Okay, so let's get rid of mac and cheese, please. That stuff is making me sad already. I was saying, that's what I was saying. And so Steven in this blog post, he's talking about something similar, although specific to game dev. So in game dev, you can buy a book on game dev. I'm sure there have to be some, and I'm sure that you could learn interesting stuff from those books. But like, is like buying 5 game dev books gonna make you a good game dev? I suspect not, and I suspect that the more you get into the craft, the more it becomes valuable to see, that one guy who made a very weird shader that does something funky that you wouldn't expect a shader to be able to do, or other techniques or other things that get discovered by people all the time. So if this is true for Zig, man, this has to be true 1,000 times when it comes to game dev. So in any case, after the stench/mask wore off, I observed as all of the interesting tech and game dev people I knew either left Twitter to go to anecdotally to Discord, 60% of people, Mastodon, 10%. I saw many proclaim they would do this, but in practice, I find many are not active there. Nowhere, they just left Twitter and stopped sharing short but insightful content entirely. When they have more well-formed thoughts, there are blog posts, but most interesting thoughts don't reach that stage and are simply lost in the wind unless you are in direct communication with them. So this is, I would argue this is absolutely true. Although we were discussing this in Discord, I think yesterday. I guess so we were discussing, we were in Discord discussing this stuff, and people also agree that Twitter used to have these, give you the impression that it was like, you know, the town hall. Is that what you call it? You know, like the place where everybody gathers and where everything is shared. So by being there, you know everything. You don't miss out on anything. I would argue that, and now that Twitter isn't there anymore, now this is lost and everybody is scattered into the multiverse. And this 100% happened. But I would also argue that Twitter in on itself also, it gives you the impression that it was at some point the one place to be. And it certainly was very useful. And in a sense, by giving you the impression, it was like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But the reality is that Twitter, just like a book, could never collect everything. Probably could collect the majority, maybe the vast majority, but it could never collect everything, right? There is nothing on the internet that collects all of the internet, not even Google. So now that we are in a situation where Twitter, quote unquote, doesn't exist anymore, you know, for the purpose of what Steven is describing here, I feel like we're kind of now facing the reality that there is no one single place where to find this stuff. And that ultimately the real solution, in my opinion, has to be designing a system that embraces people being scattered across a multiverse of tiny social circles. And by fully embracing that, that's how you create the best possible solution, which will still not collect 100% of things. Out there, there's one guy, one person hidden in a bush, doing weird stuff, crazy stuff, and you'll never know about it. And no matter what you do, well, I guess unless you get up now and go search for him. But I feel like that embracing the fact that we are all scattered, that's like the best approach. So personally, I'm happy that Twitter kind of died for this purpose, because now we are at a point where things are worse than they were before. But now we get a chance to move to a better equilibrium than where we were before. So things got worse, but I feel like they now have a chance to get better after a while. So that's why I'm optimistic. So what's the point here? The point is that if this is the situation, then if you try to envision a Discord 2, and again, I'm saying Discord 2 as a, how can I say, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. I wouldn't want to exactly do a Discord 2. But if you were to envision a different, like a new chat platform, hey, AZM Reese, thank you for the raid. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. So you can see up here what's on the slab today. Right now, we're talking about, there's this guy who left Twitter who, I don't know, he hates masks, hates freedom of speech, I think, something like this. So I'm joking. We are discussing this phenomenon explained here, and trying to think on how that could interact with the idea of building a open source alternative to Discord, which there are already some, but like what I'm talking about here is like you make one, but for once you make it good. Which I know that sounds, you know, it's not like other people are purposely trying to make shitty versions of Discord, but I feel like we are, and by we I mean people in the Zig community and adjacent communities like the Handmade Network. I think we are in a very privileged position where we could actually make it good, no joke. So how do you combat this problem here? I don't have a precise answer to this question, but I do think that there are definitely things that we could do that would make things more interesting. One, for example, and again, I feel like this is minor, but even though it's minor, like the work to get this off the ground was very small. And I feel like that the return of investment would be like huge if people started adopting this. So check out the Zine website, right? So this is the website for my static site generator. you go to the devlog page, and the devlog page contains, it's one page that contains changes, right? People who are watching this stream from the beginning have already know where I'm going with this, but like I'll be brief. But this thing contains updates, and it's an append only log, right? This is like, it's a log page. So since it's append only, you can build an RSS feed off of this page. So this is an RSS feed where every entry in the RSS feed is a chapter, like a section, a heading in the log. And so that is nice because it gives you both a very convenient way of adding new entries to it, because you just have to append a new piece of text. Like this is how it looks like. This is how I've added the latest entry right now, where I updated some things. And like you just put a new tiny block of text. Doesn't take much. And at the same time, so you build RSS off of it. And guess what? Once you have RSS feeds, then you can hook those RSS feeds to other things. Like here, I have a channel in Discord, the Zine devlog, where I pull in updates automatically from my stuff. And I think this is really nice. Some people have commented, like I've been in discussions where people were saying, wait, but what about the Git changelog? Like you can use Git RSS feeds. Well, I don't know if it's RSS feeds, but like you can use Git to push this kind of information. But actually, there is a critical difference here. This is, in my opinion, significantly different than Git changelogs, because Git changelogs are entirely about well, first of all, you get a new entry every time you push something, like bug fixes, for example. And they also entirely about what's happening with the code. But here, as you can see, like, let me read how I describe this, right? This is a non-exhaustive, curated list of changes meant to help users quickly see what improved since they last checked. So I only mention here what is interesting. I don't mention in here like bug fixes that are not particularly impactful for the user. And I certainly don't make a new entry every time I make a new commit. I am tagging a new release with Zine every time I push something here. But that's not a requirement. Like that's something that I decided to do that makes sense for me. But for example, originally this log would even list the specific commit that I was at. So it would say, yeah, at this commit, I did this. And so it wasn't like a tag release. So, and to be clear, nothing can prevent me from making a new entry where I tell you about something else. Like, for example, stuff that wouldn't belong to a changelog, for example. Like, for example, like in this one, in this entry here, I'm even talking about going to a conference to talk about my static site generator. So that doesn't fit in a commit log. So I feel like that it's a format change, right? It's subtle, but it is very real, in my opinion, critical. How would engagements work? That is a good question. So this solves, this is a stab at part of the problem, not a stab at the full problem. I don't know, but I do think that if you were to make Discord too, like Discord now has this activity thing for people playing games. With all due respect, I do not give a fuck about games that people have been playing. Oh no, Solalicious? Needy Girl Overdose? Oh, it's a song. Okay. Like... So, like, I don't care about what games people are playing. Wait, he's listening to music and playing League of Legends at the same time? He's not gonna hear, like, enemies coming out of the jungle to gank him. Oh, no. In any case, imagine a Discord that is instead designed to support the activities of a community that is mainly about software development. So instead of having games here, you have something different. Maybe you have PRs opened by people, or commits. I don't know. Or you have here the latest entries that they made in their personal devlogs. So like you have, basically you take the concept of a devlog and you kind of somewhat enshrine it in a sense. You know what? I don't want to reinvent Mastodon, but some lightweight microblogging feature, I suspect would go a long way without needing to really reinvent Mastodon. And I would say that it would be fine, even preferable, if we were to think of features that are not necessarily something that makes sense for any possible user of a chat application of this kind, and instead we focus on our own needs. So we make a system that is designed for the use case of saying, yes, there is a open source development community that is coming together mainly to work on one project. And that one project in turn should also have space for, for spinning off other things. Let me give an example of this. Maybe we can take Ghosty as an example. So the Ghosty Discord server has a showcase where people showcase what they do with Ghosty. Maybe this is not the best example, although there is some creativity in here that is interesting. Zine doesn't have one of these things for now, but it would make sense for Zine to also have a showcase channel, right? Where people show the websites that they make and interesting things that they pull off with Zine. Let me give you a much, much better example. Where's Motion Canvas? Motion Canvas. Motion Canvas is a TypeScript framework for creating animations on the web. I'm not actually presenting it really well, but there's this thing, the starboard, where people showcase things that they create with Motion Canvas. And like this is Motion Canvas is like an artistic tool, so like people can do crazy stuff with Motion Canvas, and it's very interesting to see what they're doing. So this is an animation. This is an animation that somebody created using Motion Canvas, and I think it's great. So imagine that you having the ability to do this in like a slide deck that you're creating. You can create slide decks with Motion Canvas. So that would be dope. Compare this with boring ass PowerPoint presentations that people are doing. Oh, this is downloading the video, not playing it. QuickTime Player cannot open an MP4 file. What? What is going on here, man? Okay, this guy doesn't open it either. Okay, I have no idea what Discord is doing to me. But the starboard is like it's like a subset of Showcase. So Showcase is also showing all the things that people are making. Let's see this one. Okay. Oh, a quick fork of Motion Canvas to add sounds. Yeah, sounds in Motion Canvas haven't really been a thing for a while. Yeah, so there's very crazy stuff that you can do in Motion Canvas. So Motion Canvas, for example, seems like a great example of something that would benefit from a even more from a platform that is even more focused on open source development. Oh, where's the animation? Okay, this is not particularly interesting in my opinion. Oh, you know what? Wait, there's another one. I almost forgot. Look at these guys. These guys also are working on an open source thing, and it's the kind of thing. I would say this is kind of like Motion Canvas, except more hardcore. So yeah, Mac Engine. Like people make cool shit with Mac Engine. You also want to showcase this. So I guess my point is that certain projects have like this force multiplier, like these exponential secondary effect thing. And it would be nice to be able to direct this energy in the right direction. So, in conclusion, there are plenty of reasons why Discord 2 would totally work if we were to attempt it. And so, as yesterday, I spent a couple hours playing around with DVUI. I have pretty much never done any real UI work in my life. The closest I got is Borg. So, by the way, this is like what I'm about to show. It's laughable. So it's like just like not even a prototype. This is like baby's first steps into making a GUI. But you know, I got pretty far with just like the basics. Check this out. This is not bad. Like I'm starting to like it didn't take me long to understand the basics of using an immediate GUI thing. And look, it works. What's funny is also that I'm being lazy and I'm not changing these icons, but these are actually all different icons potentially. So that also would help with improving the demo a bunch. But like, this is not bad. By the way, this text box supports complicated stuff. Like you can put text, you can add styled text, you can add inline images. This framework already supports that out of the box. Obviously, if you want to, like a real product would require you to go, I think, to much greater lengths. But as a starting point, this is already weirdly functional for the amount of code that I have to write, which is very, very little. So you're actually doing Discord 2? I thought it was a joke. I would say that I feel like drawn to the problem because I feel like that you could give the Zine treatment to Discord. And when I say the Zine treatment, I mean Zine has required some work. To be clear, I started Zine in December of last year. So let's let's round up. Let's say that I've been working on it for a year. It's still a few months before it's an actual year, but let's say I've been working on it for a year. Not non-stop, because I stopped for like 3 months, I believe, because of Software You Can Love. Like I before Software You Can Love and during Software You Can Love, I was completely busy with the conference. But so you know what? I guess it's 6 months of work overall. Then, if you start counting for that, let's say 6 months of work. In 6 months of work, we had to do a ton of stuff, and we had to do a ton of stuff. But I mean, 6 months is not even all that long, right? It's a good amount of work. It's a good amount of time. So it's not nothing. But it's also not insane. And we're at a point right now where you could totally take Zine for a spin and ditch Hugo. Like completely kick out Hugo of your repository and never look back. Still lots to do to improve things, but it's also pretty decent. And in the meantime, and like it's not only pretty decent, but it also in quite a few things is actually significantly better than Hugo. Like you have an LSP for the templating language. You don't have that in Hugo. You have build errors that you can only dream of in Hugo. That's kind of related with the LSP. Not exactly the same thing, but connected to the LSP. You can do single page RSS feeds. Good luck pulling that off with Hugo. Spoilers, you can't. You can do a few things. So can you do everything with Zine that you can do with Hugo? Not quite. There are a few things that Hugo can still do that we can't. But it's. Oh, you like Uli? Nice. By the way, Uli, if you are like porting or in any case making a website with Zine, please share a link to it, because I would love to see what people do with Zine. So So I guess my point is that, again, Zine is not a huge success yet. I am confident it will be some kind of success. Not necessarily huge, and I don't care past a certain level. But I feel like that, to me, like, even though I understand that this is not a perspective that everybody, it's not an objective truth, but in my mind, Zine has already won a ton of things that that before starting the project, I wasn't sure it could be that easy to win. And now that I'm coming out of this experience, I'm thinking that, man, it's not that impossible to do the same with a chat application. It's not trivial, man. There's a ton of stuff that you have to do for a chat application, but you can do it. Like, you can, if you can put the effort, and I think we can put the effort in the effort, then it is pretty much guaranteed that we can do it. Let's see. DVUI is awesome. Great to see folks trying to make writing GUIs in Zig easier. I think immediate mode URs are easy to get started with, though to manage tough to manage when apps get much larger, though. Yeah, and to be fair, I this is the point. I think I messaged you, Steven. Like, that's the question in my mind. Like, you probably understand this better than me. Like, I'm starting, as I said, this is like baby's first steps making a GUI thing, and I'm starting to see what are like I can appreciate the simplicity of an immediate mode GUI, but I can also see how certain things might be awkward to express to the system once you start making, once every single tiny thing becomes a thing that you can click to do something. So I guess I don't know yet if this is like an approach that, locks me into not the best ending or what. But for now it's fine. Yeah, it's fun, and it's helping me prototype some stuff. There's also Dear EM GUI, also immediate mode, which is really popular and probably more polished, stable, but it's more focused on skinnable game UIs than native desktop GUI. Check Pixie for an idea of what you can do with it, though. Yeah, by the way, yeah, this was all on my mind. I've tried Pixie, and I've seen that Pixie looks pretty good. So I was imagining that I know that with immediate GUI stuff, you can at least get to that level. That's what I had in my mind. I think if I was trying to do Discord 2 in Zig, I'd start there probably. Interesting. Where Zig fits as compared to C, please describe. Yes. Is this the right link? Yeah. So here's another interesting idea. Also, you know what? This is also another like weird thought that I'm having. Again, as a noob, I am all that I know about immediate GUI stuff and etc. is pretty much. I mean, I had a vague idea what it was before. I've heard the stories, but now this is the only one that I've been using. One thing that I'm realizing is that it is still like an immediate UI GUI. It kind of like has, as a framework, it gives you like a way of structuring things, but you can still implement your own widgets. And I'm thinking that maybe not necessarily the best solution, but like you could probably pull off maybe, most of the UI is pure immediate mode and everything is fine. And maybe you can make, that one weird component that is a little bit more complicated internally and works in a different way internally, and like you can still glue everything together. So I don't know. I feel like, again, I don't know much, but given what I'm seeing, I feel like somewhat optimistic about it. Because at the end of the day, most of the UI here, like you can break it down into subcomponents, and they generally don't have like huge needs in like a chat application based on what I understand the needs are. Like, I'm thinking that the most complicated widget in this whole thing is the input. Yeah. Input focus when you have a lot of complex stuff on screen. Yeah, input focus, and also like the input box here, having it grow, having it be like WYSIWYG to some degree and stuff. Yeah. At the same time, you know what? These are also, I suspect, some of the things that we can take, like we can cut corners a little bit for, given our audience. I would say the styling has to be better than this. I think our audience would like cringe super hard if you were to present them something that is visually as you're seeing it now. But like if you do the work to make the visual stuff better, maybe even if you have stuff like the fact that you can select text in two different boxes and it keeps the selection, which is clearly not okay. I mean, they won't they will cringe a little bit, but it won't be a deal breaker, I suspect. In any case, I feel optimistic about this stuff. But here's the actual idea. You know how everybody keeps... So actually, I mean, okay. This is the same concept, both for the front end and the back end. Let me start with the back end. Everybody keeps making these things super fucking overcomplicated. You want to install Mastodon? Yeah, good luck. Then you need to get the... you need the Docker image, you need the Docker Compose, you need the Ansible playbook, you need the Jenkins script, whatever, you need Chef, you need 4 different accounts on 4 different clouds, 5 software as a service services, and 10 times more things after that. Redis and RabbitMQ, and Memcached, and Mongo, and Elastic. Also, of course, where's the graph database? Yeah, toss in a Neo4j in there. Why not? What if instead, and then the application itself, it's like a soup of Python files with C dependencies. Oh, and obviously then if you expose that to the web, you also need a web server. So I guess that needs to be Nginx, but Nginx alone, I don't think that's good enough. So I think you need Nginx. Probably you want to put HA proxy in front of it, just to make sure you don't lose packets between these two components. Maybe we can put a Kafka topic in between. So HA proxy, whenever you need to do reverse proxying, every request becomes a message on a Kafka stream that then Nginx picks up through a paid extension, so that requires a monthly subscription, and then puts back the reply in another Kafka topic. So that's how they normally work. What if instead the backend was one executable? You made a single. Oh no, I forgot about Terraform. Oh shit, thank you, Steven. I almost forgot about Terraform. What if instead it was a single executable that you deploy on a server, and that's it? And maybe optionally you can break off certain components into a sharded distributed thing. Optionally, when you grow past a certain level, maybe eventually. But like the starting point being like just one single executable, and that's it. That would be amazing. That would give you like giving you an actual good experience managing an installation of these things. And that's something that we could pull off with Zig, and it would be fucking amazing. And then here's the idea also of how to revolutionize the front end part. Everybody, what they do is that they start with the web interface, right? So you build a backend. The backend has an API, and then this API can be consumed by a web page, or it can be consumed by a native application. So what ends up happening that everybody prototypes everything with the web page. And then, at least as a starting point, you didn't want to, but what can you do? You end up with Electron, right? So you package the web interface in Electron, and now you have native applications that then maybe eventually we'll see we can make native or not, or never. But what if instead we made this native, and then the web version is a WebAssembly plus WebGL or something of that sort. And so the web version, you do the reverse thing. The web version is the native version just inside of a browser. I think nobody is doing this. Prototype as a TUI. You know what? I have this in mind. That would be. I don't want to do it, but that would be a funny thing. Like you make the main application a TUI, and whenever you want to do whenever you want to, for example, join a voice chat and have like webcam share, the TUI spawns a GUI process that is very minimalistic. So the GUI process only has like the webcam thing and maybe minor controls, something like this. That would be funny. In any case, yeah. I think that the idea of making, like, I would be curious. Does anybody know of any application, like serious big application that is doing this? Namely, instead of doing web interface first and then web interface into Electron and then maybe on some platforms native, do the opposite. So do, well, native or in a case like non-web first and then basically put the non-web version also on the web using WebAssembly. Like this thing here as it is now, like this prototype that I have, I believe that this guy could be, as it is now, be the compiled for WebAssembly and deployed in a web page. Someone in the Z community was doing it, a project called Cosmic. I think someone was doing something similar for VLang. Okay, so in any case, like minor projects. Flutter did this for a while. Dart compiled to JS, which will render only using WebGL. Holy shit, okay. That is interesting. Yeah, non-web first. Yeah, this is like, this is the web last approach. The web last approach. I think that nobody, so in terms of products, I cannot think of one product that is doing web last. And that's interesting, right? If you think about it. Like if you have a decent UI for, like I can understand that the web is also good for prototyping. But what if you instead just don't do it and just push the native version in the web? At the end of the day, like I feel like it's just better. Does Orca also run in the browser? No, it does not. But Orca could also be a target that we could target in theory, assuming Orca is complete enough and then you actually do the work. So like it's not something that can happen tomorrow. But I feel like Orca is also like a WebLast solution in a sense. Like Orca basically is, in a sense, replacing the browser. So kind of the opposite, right? Of running in the browser. But maybe it could run in the browser. I actually don't know. Ads in 40 seconds. So last few words, and then we have to wait. So this is my Discord too. Maybe I can give the different images to these guys so that the demo looks a little bit better. You know what? I'll do that while the ad runs. What are these guys doing here? Oh no, how do you get dev tools? Oh god, this is a WebP image. Is there like a non-WebP version of this thing? Oh well, actually the image for myself, I do have it somewhere. Oh, it has to be WebP. Everything is WebP. Well, I guess there's nothing we can do, huh? Oh, I have the idea. I have the ultimate idea. Oh fuck. Okay, never mind. Hmm. Let's go. Let's improve the demo a little bit more. There you go. Not okay, not exactly the greatest, but uh, a platform for computing and creating applications. Okay, seems complicated. But okay, I get it. But this seems still like, it's not a final product by in and itself, right? I was thinking of like, is there any chat application that is doing web blast? There isn't any that I'm aware of. Maybe somebody is doing web blast out there, but it's not really common. So we have now the amazing stuff. We don't have like this image isn't getting clipped by its parent element. Would be nice to get some form of clipping going on. But yeah. So this is my current prototype for Zig 2. In any case, this is the thing. Shall we do the VS Code extension thing? I think it's time we do that. So we need to create a VS Code extension that for now, the only thing that matters is that it gives us access to provides syntax highlighting for Super Markdown. That's the only thing we care about. So that's gonna be annoying to make, but we can totally make. I think we can copy whatever we did for Super HTML, change everything that says HTML to SMD, remove the direct integration, like the direct in like the extension should only provide basically grammars or syntax highlighting and nothing else for now. So we toggle off everything there, and that should be it. And then we should be good. So hopefully it's not too traumatic. And we can also, the point is that for now, Super MD is a one-to-one, well, almost one-to-one thing with a Markdown. So for now, all we do is copy the Markdown grammars to provide basic syntax highlighting, and we only tweak them to assume that what's in the front matter is Ziggy instead of JSON. That's it. So yeah, shouldn't be too hard. Shouldn't be too annoying, hopefully. I'm thinking if I want to caffeinate myself a little bit more. Oh, let me see the VLang UI thing. I'm curious. Yeah, that's still a framework though, not a project. Not a product that is doing WebLast. Okay. Okay, Super ND. I guess we want to. So Super ND has NeoVim and Helix as editors for now. So we want to copy -R. Super HTML editors VS Code instead of editors. This is copying Node packages, and that's why it took a moment. Oh no. Of course, he copied everything in here in line. Okay. You cannot put comments in JSON, right? So we can't even comment stuff out. We have to delete it. Which I guess could be worse. Sorry for the off-topic question. Is it some sort of window tiling manager? What? You mean my layout? No, I put it myself like this. Hey, Babades Bois. Hello? Or Babades Boys? I'm assuming the Bois. In any case, thank you for the raid. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. So, what is the stream all about? How do I explain this stream to people who have just joined? So, this stream is 50% me working on my static site generator and related tooling, and 50% complaining about Discord and dreaming of implementing Discord 2, an alternative to Discord. So the most like non vaporware thing is the static site generator. So this is real. So if you want a static site generator and you would be curious to try a new one written in Zig, check this out. Especially if you use the Hugo and you hate the templating language that Hugo gives you, check this out. I've been a longtime Hugo user, and a lot of things there are a lot of things that I like about it, and a lot of things that I come to hate over time. So my static site generator is similar in some ways, very different in some others. Okay, let's see. I was learning some Zig by creating a small game using Zig plus Raylib. I see, nice. So the other 50% of the stream, as I was said, is me complaining about Discord 2. And I was messing around earlier with the immediate UI framework, and I was prototyping like my own toy Discord. Obviously, this is ugly, horribly ugly, but it's also the result of like a couple hours of work. Again, a couple hours where I was learning this stuff for the first time, like from scratch. And it's already pretty usable as it is. Far from a good product, but it's interesting how much ground you can cover so easily. And we were discussing about the reasons why try to make your own Discord, why maybe not try to make your own Discord, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. In any case, this is the stream. So if anybody here has questions about Zig, I'm happy to answer as I work on my stuff, which is right now also, by the way, related to the point. Right now, what I'm working on is this. I am adding I'm creating a VS Code extension for my fork of Markdown. And I'm using it, and I'm forking it from my I'm forking it from my other extension, which is a fork of HTML. I guess that sounds cringe when I say it that way, but whatever. So the idea is it doesn't have any configuration. It doesn't have main, not running comma. We should make it depend on .scroll.ziggy. I guess we can leave this stuff here for now. We're not using any of the language server stuff, but it's fine. Even though it's a kind of a waste to leave them there, it's fine. Nobody's going to get hurt because of that. So this should be, the basics are here. Now we need to set the correct language configuration and set the correct TM language. Although, oh yeah, these ones I'm probably going to change. Okay, we'll see now. So, where do we grab this stuff? This stuff we can steal from Microsoft itself. Aha, we are stealing from Microsoft and selling it back to Microsoft. The perfect crime. So github.com/Microsoft/VS Code. And in here, in extensions, there's one for Markdown, I would expect. Markdown basics, Markdown language features, Markdown math. Oh God. I guess we can start with basics. There's a language configuration that we can steal. Wait, is the JSON file and it can have comments in it? You can put comments? As in, it's they interpret this as JSON 5. They have. Why is always everything cringe with Microsoft? I don't understand, man. CG manifest. Syntaxes. Let's go. Okay. So we should have the basics all set up. Let's try to open this in VS Code and let's see what VS Code has to say about it. We should take a look at how this stuff was expressed in the package.json. Oh God. Oh, I copied a little bit too much, but it should be fine. Or maybe I did not. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe this is how it was supposed to be. No. Oh, man. So this is selecting all of grammars. Oh, I guess that's how it is. Copy. Okay, language. Text HTML Markdown. What? Embedded languages, HTML, JS, CSS. Oh, they have to list those manually. Oh my god, look at this cringe list. Huh. Crazy. Jesus Minify removed comments. Maybe they're using that. Maybe. Oh, let's see. Could SuperMD already replace my Markdown LSP for Helix? No, because I don't have an LSP for Super Markdown. I'm sorry. Differently from Super HTML, SuperMD right now doesn't have a custom parser. And because it doesn't have a custom parser made by me, like I haven't done the whole LSP thing. The reason for this is that I could write an LSP for it for now, but the problem is that I feel like as a format is inherently like flawed. So for me to make something good, I suspected that I need two things. So there's two problems. One is for Markdown, for SuperMD specifically, I would need syntax level stuff. I would need to write a parser myself, I think. And I wouldn't want to write a parser for Markdown. So I would want to diverge from Markdown at that point for real. Like it would still feel ideally kind of the same, but it wouldn't be a, spec compliant Markdown parser. It would be different necessarily. Every time I see a Markdown parser, it's like a spaghetti fest. The second problem, or the second thing that the LSP could help you with, is with scripty expressions. It could type check your scripty expressions. That is something that would be a type check, autocomplete. That would be great. The problem is to get there. I'm not yet, I think, all set up to be able to get there. But that is definitely on the slab. I would say it's actually the most important thing. I feel like having an LSP that tells you stuff about Markdown is not that interesting, especially if it's Markdown itself. But giving you like feedback on scripty expressions, that would be nice. I think the mental model for SuperMD more complicated than Super HTML. I'm slowly starting to get it, but it's a little more than I expected. Ooh. You mean like the expressions? You find the scripty expressions that you use in SuperMD harder to understand? I feel like that all of these would be, by the way, we are all playing the like a hard game because we don't have the tooling help us. If you, for example, if you had autocomplete for SuperMD, like you write a $sign and it tells you what your options are, it would be much easier. Like you would internalize things more easily, in my opinion, because like you wouldn't do the mistake. Maybe, for example, like you're coming from editing Super HTML and you want to link to a page, so you're tempted to do $page, but you don't do $page in Super Markdown. So how can I say? If instead you had the thing where you type $sign and it tells you what your options are right away in a drop-down menu, then it would be easier to internalize the differences. I'm sorry, we'll get there. That's the good and bad of being a it's the good and bad of being an early adopter. How do you deal with burnout? There isn't something lately that I've started and found the joy of finishing it. Hey to Caleb, hello. If so, have you seen this talk from Software You Can Love? By the way, I promise I'm not using this as an excuse to shill you a random talk from Software You Can Love, but there's one that is actually really on point with what you're talking about. You guys on YouTube deserve it as well. Yeah, it's 100% dead on the topic that you're talking about. It might not necessarily be the equivalent of your experience. So I'm not saying that your experience is exactly what Josh is describing in his talk, but it definitely is on topic, I think. Yeah. Let's go. Front matter is Ziggy. And we should have support for Ziggy blocks, I guess. We could kill JSON and replace it with Ziggy. Now people will still create dedicated JSON blocks. Oh, I think this needs to be underscored. Okay, so hopefully this stuff works. Two problems. Duplicate object key. Oh, thank you. Thank you, VS Code. Damn. Okay, so for now we're not doing super great. This is being recognized as plain text. There, I see no super MD. Well, that's a problem. Okay, let's save this file. This is gonna come in handy in a moment. This doesn't show any problems. Hmm. I mean, something clearly is not going right if we are not even listed in here. Like, what the heck? The package lock is out of whack. That's fine. Wait, where did my terminal go, man? Okay, now package lock has been updated. Not that it's particularly interesting, I suspect, but Yeah, okay, so something goes wrong with our script here, for sure. Somehow, this stuff doesn't just apps completely does not get looked at. Contributes languages, grammars. Is this the structure? Contributes languages, grammars. Also snippets. Configuration defaults. What if we comment out the grammar stuff entirely? No change. Ah, man. What about activation events? Well, wait, could it be that it's these comments and trailing comment stuff that is a problem? Oh, it seemed that we gained something. Yeah. So those comments should not have been there. Interesting that it was telling me earlier that some things were wrong, but now it will. But for those other things, it didn't say anything. Now we fixed it. So JSON syntax highlights correctly. Markdown syntax highlight correctly. Okay. Ziggy doesn't though. Ziggy doesn't work. I have Ziggy. Why does it not work for Ziggy? Ooh, maybe Ziggy isn't like source dot Ziggy. Maybe Ziggy is text dot Ziggy. Okay, so this should be the front matter in theory. Let's see what happens. Yeah, now the front matter lights up. So this is fixed. This is not fixed. Okay, so blocks are not fixed, and yeah. I guess we need to take a look at what's going on in Ziggy schema. Text Ziggy schema. Yeah. I guess there's something else that doesn't match. I think it's the regular expression in here that is not matching as it should. Technically, we could, I think. Oh, no. I know what it is. Wait. This needs to be escaped? Probably. That doesn't explain why Ziggy is busted, though. This might explain why Ziggy schema is busted. Doesn't explain Ziggy. So no, this is not it. Like the front matter works? That's crazy. But code blocks don't work. No, I think I'm bungling this regular expression as is. What if I did this? No change. Quick question. How would I define multiple classes, Jungi section attributes in SuperMD? Is it even possible? Yeah. Look at the signature of attributes. It accepts it's variadic, so you just give it more arguments, and they will all become classes. So, what might the problem be in here? Maybe I wired it wrong in package.json. Maybe they need to be wired in also somewhere else. Ah. Yo, we have syntax highlighting for everything. The music is jazz, hip hop, lofi rain, life begins after coffee. From Chill Chill Journal on YouTube. And it's the final songs. So, what were we doing? We got everything working. Front matter highlights, code blocks highlight. What's not to love? The way this stuff works in VS Code, though, is kind of disgusting, if I have to be honest, though. Holy shit. But you know what? Whatever. Okay, so this works. How do I make a package? What's in package.json? What do I mean disgusting? I mean, you have to manually wire in all the possible things that you expect to find in code blocks. This is like this. What if somebody makes a new file format? Like it has to be listed here? It's weird. Yes, exactly. If you want a suggestion, and this is an annoying limitation of the current parser that I'm using, but do not put a space after the comma. So do name, comma, home without space after the between the comma and home, because unfortunately the Markdown parser doesn't like you doing that. That's the only thing. I'll try to fix it at some point. It's definitely one of the reasons why we'll need to make our own parser also for this stuff eventually. But yeah. So the point is that this is not pluggable at all. And if you look instead of how editors they use three-seater work, three-seater has by design a concept where you can embed another parser, like another sub-language in a thing, but it's not like a hard-coded list. It's like quote-unquote plug and play. So you put their name of a thing, and the name of the thing gets mapped to whatever corresponding grammar you need. Without having to hard code something. Here, if a new language, if somebody makes a grammar for a new language, then before it can get syntax highlighted inside of Markdown, somebody has to coordinate with Microsoft to have the extension be updated so that the new language can be included. Instead, if you're using something like Helix or NeoVim, you download the grammar for the new language, and then that language will have a name that gets automatically picked up inside of every other thing that can embed other languages. So it's three-seater seems to me a strictly superior tool for this kind of stuff compared to to whatever Microsoft is doing here. So we have pre-publish, build, ESC package, deprecation warning, error types VS Code greater than engines. Either upgrade engines or use older VS Code section. Okay. Oh, I understand why. It's fine. It's fine. Done. Package supermd vsix. Could this give more security? Maybe embedded stuff elsewise would be possible. No, because as a user, you install extensions for stuff that you want yourself manually. So this is the what Visual Studio Code is using is, I think, well known that it's an older system that has been, well, I don't know, maybe it's up to opinion whether this entire thing has been completely surpassed entirely by three-seater, but three-seater is the new hot thing. At the very least, it's the new hot thing. Microsoft. Microsoft. Get started with Azure DevOps. What is going on, man? Bro, where the fuck is my page? Sorry, Lawrence, if it's not already on your to-do, the SuperMD repo doesn't have... yeah, Uli, yeah, you're right, it doesn't. But check this out. I should probably add something there as well. But I would say for now, consider this the authoritative source. Go in documentation, there's editor support. This was added like yesterday or something. So check the editor support part of the Zine website. It now tells you how to set up everything. Depending, if you're using something that is not Helix, you're managed by Wary, because that's the Helix stuff. I don't know. I might have made a typo in or like copy pasted the wrong thing in here, but this one, that's the one that I use and I know works. NeoVim I tried and it seems to work, so this should be fine. But NeoVim is more complicated. Well, VS Code is as soon as I can log into my marketplace thing, then it should be fine. But Microsoft moment. Like, why are they sending me to that new page here? Create a new organization. Use your benefits. Bro, I just want to look at my fucking extensions. Why can't you make this work? Okay, we finally found it. Jesus Christ. Oh, okay. So this logging into that page was pain. It finally worked. Uli, by the way, what are you using? Because you mentioned Vim or Helix, and actually, given what you're talking about, like if by Vim you actually do mean Vim, it might be that I don't have support for it, because with Vim you're not using Triciter, I believe. So without Triciter, I think that normal Vim without Triciter uses a setup similar to VS Code for syntax highlighting. And when I say similar, I think it might even be pretty much the same thing, just different file format, but like same underlying logic. And I don't have that. Oh, you're using Helix. Okay, so you're good then. Yeah. Okay, so with this, yeah, now that I think about it, man, Zine took a long time, but boy, have we gone down rabbit holes. The Zig extension was pushed 6 months ago. So 6 months ago, I was working on the various parsers and LSP stuff for Ziggy, and then HTML. Like a lot of time and effort was spent on those building blocks. So, yeah. So in other words, Discord 2, totally doable. Okay, so we're in business. Let's see. Okay, I'll do this. I'll uninstall Ziggy. Search for SuperMD. Finds my SuperMD extension. Probably should find a logo for it. I'll install it. And that has reinstalled also Ziggy, which I guess is fine. I mean, that works. I don't remember if there's a comment there or not. Let's go. Now VS Code is a proper citizen of Zineland. And so people who use VS Code can have a reasonable starting experience. Just need to get the extension. Isn't even all that hard. Let's see. I was shocked at how mature Zine was when I finally checked it 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Let's see. Since your first streams, almost nobody has language support for the tools, especially not this quickly. I agree. People don't focus on this stuff at all. They also pin themselves into weird corners. Like if you think about it, the Hugo templating language is kind of inherently cursed. Like you can't really provide easily good support for it. Maybe you can provide some syntax highlighting if you want to. Like I'm not saying it's impossible. It's probably totally possible. But making it good, like they make it hard for themselves by having this weird soup of things coming together. And yeah, I also agree that nobody is like, for example, for Ziggy, talking about weird, what do you call them? Moonshots, like weird attempts at doing something that you should probably not do. I made my own JSON replacement. That's a bad idea. But at the same time, man, how come that JSON doesn't have this? Why does it not have a CLI tool with formatting, querying, checking for schema and conversion? Like what the heck? To be fair, Ziggy doesn't exactly have that either because some of this stuff is not implemented. I need to circle back to Ziggy again. But like this is by design like much more manageable. By the way, another thing that I need to do right now is sync the Ziggy uh, schema for the Zine front matters with the actual type that I use, because right now they are slightly out of sync. I'm talking about this specifically. So if you look at documentation and you go to SuperMD basics, this shows you the Ziggy schema for the front matter, which, by the way, this is kind of nice. Check out how this works. In Zine SSG, in the build script, I have a build time asset that grabs this file from inside of Zine and exposes it as a build asset in the build script. So in the website, in SuperMD index, I embed the front matter itself from Zine directly in here. So Zine is the authoritative source of that file, and it can still keep being it. And then the website picks it up, which I think is beautiful because it helps avoiding mistakes. The problem is what's missing right now is making this front matter be a type used by Zine. It's on my pile of to-dos. Anyway. See, the problem is not people coming up with new formats, it's the lack of editor language support. I love that you take it seriously. Yeah, if all I have to do is change a few config lines or an extension, I'll use anything that improves my workflow. Makes sense. Yeah, makes total sense. And also, I have not been perfect at this, but some other people have helping me out a lot. For example, Reaper, Reaper Crew Green has made some nice PRs for adding support to Zine file formats into Vim and NeoVim. That was part of the discussion, but yeah, check this one. This one adds Ziggy and Super HTML to Vim, and it was merged. So this is still missing Super SMD, and this is also part of there's another PR to another project. I think I don't remember if it's on Vim 3CTer or Mason or what, but so basically he's working on getting this stuff merged into the editors so that you don't even have to do the initial setup anymore. Yeah. Nice. So the experience is getting decent. I'm almost done with porting like a basic port of the Zig website, and I was hoping to release that with basically release it with a decent set of tools so that people that want to work on this stuff can have a decent time. And we're kind of there. So Uli, if you're still around, I'll show you one last funny thing that happened around Zine. So there's this issue that is still open that is kind of sad that it's still in the current state. Let me close this issue in the meantime. Oh, that's the problem. I'm looking at the wrong repo. We need to look at the Super HTML repo. So this is on a kind of a sad thing. Basically, I have the VS Code extension for Super HTML, and I have an LSP for it. But Microsoft has started publishing blog posts about how you can build your language server, like make a Wasm build, and so you then bundle the language server itself into your VS Code extension. But they have a bug in their implementation of WASI. So when you try to read a socket, you try to read, a file descriptor. So like you read from standard input, which is what you normally do now in a language server. If your read buffer is not big enough, which is normally how it works, so meaning that basically your read reads some of the data available, and then you will need to issue a second read to read more. What happens is that your stuff hangs because the JavaScript side of things doesn't implement read correctly, and so it hangs. And they claim to have solved it, but it doesn't seem like this because I still experience the bug. And unfortunately, this is the only blocker. Like everything is ready on my end. This is the only blocker that is preventing me from making it so that the VS Code extension, like you install the VS Code extension and you don't have to do anything else. You don't need to download the executable. You don't need to put it in your path. Just get the extension and you get the LSP experience out of the box. No, it doesn't matter, Apple. It's like there is only one person working on this stuff. And he has looked into it. Like he has attempted to fix it. If you look at the diff, like he was touching what I presume is the correct stuff. Like looking at the diff, it made sense to me. And although he was fixing another issue that, according to him, should be related, and it is very related. Like here they were experiencing. Yeah, I bet you that basically he solved it for writing. Like they were having trouble writing, and I bet you that they solved it for writing, but not for reading. You know what? I'll leave another comment. Okay. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to wait at the very least Monday for the guy to get back in in the office, I guess. But hopefully this will be fixed. Look, this is so frustrating because I'm so close to the perfect experience. Install the extension, boom, you get everything. But not quite there. Not quite there. So yeah, this is it. So here's what I'm thinking. It's getting kind of late. I had a good stream. Let me see if anybody else is streaming. I would love to be able to raid somebody who's streaming Zig. But there doesn't seem to be anybody live, huh? Yeah. So yeah, I'll just call it a day. If anybody ends up using Zine or any of the related file formats or any of the related tooling, please, if you have issues, ping me, open an issue, find me in Discord. Find me in Discord for now. And probably for a while more. But in any case, yeah, this is it. So thank you all for hanging out, and I'll see you next time.